Hello everyone, I wanted to discuss a new title called The Grey Eminence coming out by the Nestonars. Presumably by the next year. It looks to be a very ambitious project. For example, it has about 1 million provinces compared to EU4's something like 3,000 plus. So just to give you a sense of scale of how detailed the game is. We haven't seen the provinces in depth, but there are just so many things going on with the game. They have a beautiful world map. They have a huge start period from 356 around 1300 to 1900. And there's just a lot going on with the game itself. So I want to kind of break down what I know so far about the game and where it's kind of looking to put itself in the vast sandbox, quite literally, of Paradox games, because Paradox really dominates the competition. So for EU4 in particular, it's in a very weird position because this game has been going on for 4+ years. It has had tons and tons of expansions, side content like content packs, everything from A to Z, and we have a new game, quite the contrary, of Victoria 3 coming out, and it's going to be brand new with all the bells and whistles that the modern Clausewitz engine that Paradox employs has. So there's going to be an interesting contrast between the two. You have somewhere kind of in the middle the Grey Eminence, which is a game coming out by some of the modders associated with MEIOU, which is a very comprehensive game-changing overhaul for EU4, and it seems to kind of simulate some of the, I don't know if micromanagement is a bit of a misnomer, because it depends really on who is using the word here, but I guess, just forgive me for using this, I guess a micromanagey-ish game, but the devs have kind of described this issue in of itself in a weird way for people who don't necessarily like micromanagement, but I guess can lean towards it. Like, it's something when you're playing sandbox games like Solaris or even 4X games that some players just shy away from, but you kind of have to deal with it when you're managing a nation. And basically the devs, they haven't gotten into it too much, but they say there are systems in place as to where if you really like micromanaging, you can get into it, but if you don't, you can always kind of put it on the side and go to some of the bigger deals with like nation building and kind of get your fair share of interaction and engagement that you'd expect out of a successful historical sandbox strategy, whatever adjectives you want to pile onto that. But basically the gist is it is kind of a hybrid between Victoria 2 and EU4, and it's trying to slim down on the micromanagement while providing a quality experience that really gets the player immersed and can kind of, I guess at least the devs hope that the game will try to keep players in the loop, and there's kind of that good feedback loop where you're not getting too much out of one experience. The different playthroughs you're going to go through are going to have very different interactions, like I guess if you're playing a Native American tribe as opposed to a European power, and there's just kind of that dynamicity going on between different playthroughs and how you engage with your empires themselves. Now, there is really one big thing that the devs like to harp home about, and it's by no means an unimpressive feature of the game, but that is that it's extremely moddable with all of the different tiles it has, and I guess the Unity engine that the game is built on, it's easy to interact with. The Unity source code, I think, is fairly widespread, and a lot of people have experience modding with it. So as you can see here, they're just painting, they're giving the people what they want. They're painting Byzantium all the way across the map and driving those filthy Ottomans out. But Turk jokes aside, they have really, I think, put some effort into making the game moddable, making it adherable to different kinds of formats, kind of like what they did with MEIO4, the overhaul for EU4. It's actually just MEIO, I think it's actually 2. I think they made one for EU3. But the point is, they are really trying to hit home that they are stressing and building a lot on the modding features of the game and the modability. So I think they are really hoping that they attract some of the modders from EU4, from Victoria 3 potentially in the future, and start to really build a foundation with the player base, which is always nice to have. Paradox has had a great player base and a wonderful foundation with all of the different mods they have. So it's going to be great to see how they kind of go forward with this and explain it in the future. Population seems to kind of have a similar structure based off of Victoria 2, just with the pie charts and whatnot. I haven't looked into it with too much insight. I haven't spoken to the devs at all. This is not a sponsored video, but they seem to be basing this off of Victoria 2 systems with a lot of adjustments here and there. As far as I know, EU4 doesn't really have a hard population system. From what I've played, the development is fairly static, but with their mod, MEIOU4. I'm gonna have to find a shorter acronym for that. They simulate population and in a fairly complex manner, and it actually causes the game to lag just a little bit, at least from when I played it like a year ago. I don't know, they may have made optimization updates, but I did experience quite a bit of lag. So I don't know how they're gonna optimize all of this. Like, how many? It's like 1.4 million people. So that was just gonna, I think that would lag the game to shreds. Knowing how skilled the devs are with optimizing things, I have no doubt that they'll find a way to make this work, but it's just super impressive what they've been able to do. And this may all be as a result of Unity Engine's computing power. Not sure how that works, but it must be a bit more flexible than the Cloudsource engine that Paradox is based off of, or bases most of their games off of. If any of you guys know the specifics, please let me know. But this has just been a very brief overview of the massive game that looks to be the Grey Eminence. So currently it has a small following, but I expect that to kind of grow with the upcoming dev diaries. So if you guys would like to see me kind of cover the dev diaries and go into a bit more detail, please let me know. But this is so far a little look. I hope I at least provide a transparent and clear look to the Grey Eminence. So far we've only had 3 dev diaries. I've tried to sum up what I can really, and you can find that basically in the description below. I'll link one of the dev diaries, and hopefully you guys can find that, or the website, whatever works. But that is the Grey Eminence. So if you guys enjoyed it, please let me know by leaving a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys later. All right, love you guys. Peace.